Ryan Garcia casting doubts on the usage of VADA. That particular agency, he says he's clean, a clean athlete, but the drama is over VADA. In this video, that is what I'm going to talk about. So let's jump right into it. Oh, man. This is obviously the fight that just keeps on giving. Ryan Garcia versus Devin Haney. I mean, we're almost to the 1 year anniversary and it's still going on, so to speak. Like, you know, still like elements to talk about and all that. So Ryan Garcia put this, I'll jump right in. It's getting scary. No, he said it's getting really strange. Why it's always VADA. Can we get some other organizations to test? Because you got Bill Haney pushing only VADA. Never says any other organizations. And it's strange. He's pushing a certain organization. Don't you just want any kind of testing? All this sounds like the people pushing to use VADA are getting some type of cut money, some kind of cut money-wise to have people use VADA. Seems unethical. This is just my opinion. This part is interesting from Ryan. Ryan says, somebody said, Ryan, leave this one, my friend. The clean athletes will discuss amongst themselves. He says, get the uck out of here, buddy. I will always state my innocence. I'm clean, but that organization I will never use again. Wow. I'm clean, but that organization I will never use again. Listen, there's multiple ways to look at this particular situation. Some things, like Ryan never failed a drug test till the Devin Haney fight. That's the reality. Some people are going to look at it like, oh, he's ducking. He doesn't want to do any testing. That's not what he said, though. He didn't say I won't do any testing. He's questioning the legitimacy, I guess, and how ethical it is for VADA particularly. And he's like, let's get another testing agent and agency. And, you know, basically, why is Bill keep recommending VADA? So the backstory to that is Devin Haney worked with SNAC. SNAC is founded by Victor Conti, who is the head of, or was the head of Balco, which notoriously one of the biggest PED scandals in sports history. He was forced to testify. People got medals, like Marion Jones got her medal taken back, et cetera, et cetera. So needless to say, he said he's turned his life around. He has opened up, you know, his own gym. He has his own product and supplement line called SNAC. And depending on who you ask, some people think there's something suspicious. Some people think he should have been banned for life. And that's where we're at. Ryan claims he's innocent and the Ostarine was not purposefully ingested on his end. And that's where we're at with it. I will say I understand a portion of what Ryan is saying. Either way, here's the thing. And I'm very clever when I craft my words. So listen to this, because as a YouTuber and an online personality, I got a lot of fans, but there's also haters and detractors, and they try to play spin doctor. So that's why I craft my words and my videos in a certain fashion, so it's not to be confused. There is no reason you should have a banned substance in your system. Let's be clear. I have had a channel for double-digit years covering boxing. I've never advocated for any type of cheating. My past body of work, let the record show, that's always been my get down. If you're a cheater, face the consequences. And then if you keep cheating, get up out the sport. You know what I mean? So it's never changed. That's not something we condone. That being said, the Ryan fight was always a bit weird in the sense that he didn't fail in training camp, where most people, you're not, how do you say it? Okay, what's the purpose of a training camp? The 6, 8, 12-week camp to get ready for a fight. So if cheating is in your nature and that's what you want and you're a cheater, I feel more often than not, you would be cheating in training camp, aka preparation, so you look good in sparring, so you can sleep and recover faster and really reap the benefits of whatever you're using, however you're juicing. Ryan's case was weird in that he passed all of his tests leading up, and then fight week, they said he was overweight days before the fight, and, you know, he was probably doing whatever to get that weight up off him. And the week of the fight, day before the fight, these are the dates when he failed his test. So it was always a bit weird because, again, if you're intentionally cheating for PED steroid benefits, you probably aren't going to wait till the week of the fight. That's just kind of common sense. And you probably wouldn't take Ostarine, which is a SARM. And Amir Khan had Ostarine in his system and got knocked out by Kell Brook. These are all facts. So Ryan's case was always a bit weird to me. You know, I'm not saying he didn't knowingly ingest it or he did, because I really don't know. You know, all I know is what he said and what the test showed. So there's strict liability. It's your fault anyways, no matter what. It's like if I'm speeding, if I go to Atlanta and I'm speeding in a whip in a rental and I'm like get pulled over by the boys 12 and I say, oh, I didn't know. Ignorance is no answer. So that's the same thing. Strict liability. It was in your system. You can't explain it, you know. So that's a mark on your jacket. And that's why Ryan's suspended now. But the circumstance is a bit weird. Now, about the VADA thing, you know, it is a good point in terms of, I don't know what Ryan did. I just told you. Anybody acting like they know conclusively, they really don't. Because if you knew so much, you should have predicted it and warned the Haneys not to fight him because Ryan was juicing. So we found out when VADA reported to the promoter, and then the information came out through the media that Ryan had failed, and this was weeks later, you know. And so unfortunate for Devin, it was too late. The fight had already occurred. You know what I mean? So I do believe if they do rematch, it does need to be tested. The only question herein lies is, can it be VADA? Should it be VADA? And that's what I want you guys to discuss. I have different thoughts, but I'd have to think on it because Ryan makes a point, and then like Devin has a point in, you shouldn't be cheating or have anything in your system when you're fighting me. That's just common sense. No matter how I got in there, that's the reality. I should be able to fight you on an even playing field, like Floyd said, right? So that makes sense. But it also makes sense that if somebody is involved in the biggest PED scandal in sports history, or one of them, that they probably shouldn't be so close to boxing and supplying supplements. That seems a bit weird too. That seems like conflict of interest. So no matter how much you hate Ryan or whatever, you can't admit that that's not weird, that boxing allows that. And then to find out that he had a hand, Victor Conte had some kind of hand in helping develop the test, I don't know. It doesn't look good. Like, for example, let's say your family member was being accused of something that you know they didn't do. They were being accused of like some kind of 187, right? And the judge is your old neighbor that hated y'all. He hated your whole family. Don't you see the conflict of interest? You're facing a murder beef, or your family member is facing a murder beef, and the judge happens to know you and never liked you. And then let's say you knew the judge was racist and you're a person of color. Like, these things would kind of be a conflict of interest. I have a racist neighbor that hated my whole family, and now family members on trial, and they're going to proceed over it. It's kind of a conflict of interest. So it's kind of the same thing with Victor Conte. And no matter what the Haney Act say, you can't really spin that into a positive. And it's funny because the Haney Acts try to. They say it's impossible. Ryan's a cheater. So once a cheater, always a cheater for Ryan Garcia. But then it's possible for Victor Conte to have been involved in some of the biggest scandal in sports history, supplying PEDs to multiple people at a time, and he's able to be reformed. So you kind of can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't say that Victor Conte only is able to do a dastardly deed and then reform and be on the right side of things, but then it's not plausible that Ryan Garcia can fail and, improve or never fail again. Canelo failed, and then he never failed to test again. So I understand that side of the coin also. And this is just the sport we're in. And like, playing devil's advocate, if Ryan really ingested a tainted supplement and you didn't intentionally do it, and you see this picture, and this is the Haneys with Victor Conte, who also helped VADA get started basically and develop their testing formats. There's a lot of people that are under the impression that he has the knowledge and the wherewithal to potentially beat test and have undetectable stuff. I've heard Shane Mosley speak on this pretty frequently, you know what I mean? Where Shane Mosley is saying that there's undetectable stuff that he was being given and all this type of stuff from that situation with Victor Conte. This is what Shane Mosley said. I can point you in the direction of when and where he said it. So, I mean, Ryan does make a point with that. He does need to be tested. He does have this black cloud over him as well because he did fail. So if they are to rematch, make no mistake about it, there has to be drug testing. The only question, no one's questioning if the rematch should be clean. That's common sense. We're not cheaters over here. However, if there's doubts of VADA's involvement and Ryan said he not effing with it, I don't know. Maybe there's another option. I don't know how this is going to play out. But I will say it's bad for Devin Haney because Devin, in my opinion, needs the vengeance by beating Ryan Garcia more than the other way around. The fight got overturned, so it's the first fight's on neither one of their records. However, Devin was the one that was the favorite that got quote unquote upset and demolished and dropped and these types of things. So for me, I think that'll haunt Devin's career more than Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia was never dropped in the fight. He wasn't like badly hurt, and he had the better moments when he was on. I don't think Ryan looked sharp in his totality, which I've always said from day one, but when he was on, and it was successful, and he was hurting Devin Haney. So Devin has the mountain to climb in order to resurrect his brand. So to me, I think Devin actually needs the Ryan Garcia fight. He needs to get that monkey off his back, the proverbial monkey off his back, and clean that up. Show that, hey, under stringent drug testing circumstances, both of us passed all tests all the way through, and the tests during, after, all that, and I could beat this guy. So the problem for Devin, as I'm telling you guys, is Ryan called the shots in the first fight as the A side. Despite him failing a drug test, he's still the bigger name and the bigger star. So the Haneys probably won't like to admit this, or the Haneyacks, but Ryan's still the bigger star here. So he still would be the A side for real, for real. And if he says he's not using VADA, he's down to test through another agency, then they can basically get to a fork in the road, I guess you could say, because where do you go from there? Ryan's saying he's not using this company, and this is like what Bill Haney is pushing, this particular company. And I will say it does, that aspect of it looks a bit weird, because what Ryan said is, I'm clean and I'm okay with testing, but why do you keep saying VADA, VADA, VADA and acting like they're the only ones? So he's basically kind of speculating, and others have speculated, that Victor Conti behind the scenes somehow controls the test or has the ability to make tests appear or make someone pop dirty, things like that. So if we want to see a rematch and everybody wants it to be clean, this is something that's going to have to be hashed out. And I think it's going to be a difficult thing, because Devin's probably going to want standard VADA. And then Ryan is going to be like, I'm the A side. I will test, but I'm not using your test because I don't trust you guys and I don't trust Victor Conti. And he's saying that picture looked crazy. That hook picture, I don't even know if I've seen this one. This look crazy. I'm going to leave it up. That looked crazy. I don't even know if I've seen this picture. He hooked off on him. But anyway, Ryan's angle is going to be like, you have to understand and look at both sides of the coin. Ryan's saying, I didn't intentionally do this, and I took something that was tainted. Whether you believe it or not, this is what he's claiming. And now he's saying, I'm not doing VADA testing that specific organization because I don't trust him. Whether it doesn't matter what you believe, that's what he's saying. So we may never see the Haney rematch, because I don't know what testing agency, what other ones they can use. Maybe there's a third party one, but I think there should actually be multiple agencies that are all kind of just as good. So in the event that you reach these type of weird scenarios where you can still get the job done effectively, honestly, and get it done to test for a clean sport, but not only have one agency do it and everything starts and stops with them. So kind of a weird and tricky situation, if you will. Like, let's say you went to a doctor and they gave you a script for a prescription, and you went to a particular pharmacy and they messed up your prescription and it put you in the hospital because they accidentally labeled it wrong or put the wrong pills in the vial. You probably wouldn't want to go back to that particular pharmacy for any type of drugs if they made a blunder like that. But then imagine if your insurance was like, this is the only pharmacy that you can go to, and it happens to be the one that had this blunder. You know, that's going to be kind of a conflict of interest. I hate this pharmacy, and this is the only pharmacy my insurance covers, but they've already like jerked me and made a huge mistake, so now I don't trust them. That's kind of what Ryan Garcia is saying here. He's like, Victor Conti has worked with Devin, and not only has he worked with Devin, I never seen some of these pictures. These pictures is getting crazy. But anyway, not only has he worked with Devin, he's also actively like writing paragraphs dissing Ryan Garcia and telling people Ryan's a cheat and, oh, where's his B sample? And he's providing, I guess, Twitter commentary where he's putting these long dissertations about Ryan Garcia and saying how Devin signed up for a 365 24/7 and he's the best and things like that. So all I'm saying is the conflict of interest angle is definitely there, because clearly Victor Conti has worked with the Haneys, and that's where his loyalty kind of has lied, and his past, and clearly he has no allegiance to Ryan Garcia. So if he does have influence over VADA, yeah, that's a problem. So I don't know. It's up to them in the negotiations to figure out a way to solve this. Golden Boy is going to have to get on their job and see if there's equal testing or someone who can do the job as good as VADA or better or whatever the case is. Like I said, I'm not going to stress it because this ain't my battle. I'm not in charge of setting up people's drug tests. All we know is it needs to be clean, and this could create some kind of issue. Drop your thoughts in the comment section.